They're asking us to board now.
Yeah, that's all right. Jump on. Enjoy the trip. We'll just tell them we just saw you.
All right. Have you liked my little updates with the flag?
I love it.
Okay, good. You'll see more of them.
All right, safe trip. Yeah, that's all
Okay,
right.
bye-bye.
Jump on. Enjoy the trip. We'll just tell them we just saw you.
All right. Have you liked my little updates with the flag?
I love it. What do we got going on here? Echo?
You'll see more of them.
All right, we're live to the web, Danny. So let's go ahead and get started.
All right, good evening, folks. If you didn't catch that, that was Nurse Becky. She's on a flight to Maui. She was hoping to get in here and talk with us prior to her departing, but it didn't work out. So we'll speak on her behalf. But Becky and Heather are back for 2024, the 100th anniversary. So welcome to our May kickoff meeting. This meeting is optional. It's not a stressful meeting, but we do want to touch base with you about a little bit of information and preparation for this summer. So let's roll through the deck. We'll keep this as quick as possible. And well, Andy, take this one.
Sure. So welcome, everybody. We're about a month out from us getting to summer camp for the beginning of staff week, which is really exciting. We want to have this meeting tonight just to kind of go over some operational updates and kind of get you in the mindset of getting prepared for camp. Some of you, your week of camp is coming up in just about a month. Others, it's about 2 months. So a couple things that we want to do before we get started tonight. First up, if you do not already have the Leader's Guide viewed, open in another tab, printed, whatever it may be, get that Leader's Guide. It's available on the camp website, camponoxet.org. We will be having a check-in. So this QR code that you see on the screen, take a minute. Someone from your unit, we'll leave it up for a few more minutes, should check in, or really anybody who's watching right now should check in with the live stream. If there's anybody in their unit who needs updated contact information on their reservation, it's really kind of a crucial time to make sure that your unit's contact information is correct and up to date with us. Make sure that we have the email address and the name of the person who's the primary person who should be on the reservation. Ideally, this is someone who is coming to camp, who's going to be spending at least a couple days at camp with the troop or the crew. Don't just have the treasurer be the point of contact. They should be someone who's going to be getting information throughout the time that we go through operational stuff. So we'll leave this check-in QR code up for about 1 more minute. Danny, I'll pass it back on to you.
All right. Well, welcome. So you're going to leave this up and we're not going on the next slide. Give me a hint about what the next slide is, Collins.
It's about you and me.
Okay. Well, I'm Dan Megan. This is my 16th year as camp director. I'm a teacher in Dedham. And here we go.
If you do have questions for us tonight, you can scan this QR code. It'll also be at the bottom of every slide on the slide deck as well. So you can submit your questions that way. Nick O'Connell, our chat master, will be pulling all of those questions together and submitting them to us throughout the night.
All right. Andrew, how many folks on the call right now do we have? Can we tell?
I would have to change some tabs around.
All right, well, tell us in a little bit. But one point of reference I want to update. At the January meeting, we talked about buying new tents for camp. And somebody out there asked, would it be nylon or canvas? And I quickly answered nylon. And then we started the process of researching vendors for nylon. And we discovered that they were $1,200 a piece and they were very limited. And so we will have some new nylon this year, but mostly we'll have new canvas. We're looking at about 30 pieces of canvas and I believe 11 pieces of nylon. So about, quick math there, about 82 people will be sleeping under new tents. And so that's more than a third of the scouts and adults in camp. So that's excellent. And just an update on that, because I did say nylon, it's really mostly canvas, some new nylon. All right, let's roll, Collins. Rachel Schreibogel, special educator from Ohio, is on the call, and so is Nick O'Connell, assistant program director, teacher here in Dedham. And let's pass it over to program. You guys jump in now for program.
Sure, thanks, Danny. So if you are returning to camp with us for another summer, our schedule is going to look familiar to you. If it's your first time here, I'm just going to walk through it. So scouts have a chance to earn a total of 3 full week merit badges every week at camp. So they'll have 2 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. And then scattered throughout that time, we have open program time where campers can pick and choose the programs that they attend, and there's different offerings each day for that. There's also bonus badges during that open program time, and then a patrol time activity at 11 o'clock each day, which is an activity that scouts will sign up for as patrols. So just some highlights. We recently purchased a brand new 18-foot Bayliner boat. So this puts us at 2 motorboats in use for program at all times, and then 1 motorboat in reserve. So we'll always be at capacity to run our merit badges, our open program boating, everything like that. And this is in big thanks to the George McGee Memorial Fund, as well as we have, I believe, 10 or 13 new bikes that were purchased to help with triathlon, Bike Ride to Kimball's, and all those programs, so we can expand and offer those to more scouts as well. Something that I really want to touch on is the high rate of senior staff. With it being the 100th anniversary, just as you all are excited to be at camp with us, our staff is also excited. So we have a lot of old faces we haven't seen in a couple of years coming back. One actually on the call with us tonight. Shout out to Roger Murray, who's with us right now, as well as just a high rate of area directors returning for the summer. So we have tons of seasoned senior staff, seasoned junior staff. So we have some great program that's going to be supplied by them this summer. As well as we just confirmed just this last week that we will have Camp Wachlow athletic events again. So what that's going to look like is once a week, either Wachlow will come to us, we'll come to them. Not the whole camp, just a selection of scouts that are interested in it. And we'll have some type of athletic competition each week. The one exception to that is week 7, as their camp ends a week earlier than ours because they also start a week earlier. And then some new merit badges that we'll be introducing this year are movie making merit badge, as well as bird studies. So some program supplements, and before I start talking about this, I just want to let you know that all of these are available at the very last page of the Leader's Guide. So as we start to talk about different documents tonight, you're going to be able to find all of those hyperlinked on the last page of that Leader's Guide. And what these program supplements are is they're very tailored programs and recommendations for first-year campers who are new to camp, and they're going to focus on fun and meaningful programs, and then up until what we call the Winoxet Pioneers. So these are going to be your older scouts, your 16, 17-year-old scouts that have been coming for a while. So these might focus heavier on Eagle required badges, or programs that are tailored to an older scout, such as BSA Guard, or the adventure team, also known as COPE. And then we also have some programming specifically for venturing that is designed outside of that merit badge structure. So as an adult leader, ways that we asked for your assistance, ways that you can give back, is we do have some merit badges that require for guest speakers to come and talk. All the requirements of these guest speakers are also linked on the last page of the Leader's Guide. So if this is something that you're interested in that pre-camp meeting, I'll be talking more about how to sign up for these speaking opportunities, as well as drivers. We have a lot of field trips and a lot of out-of-camp opportunities that we do need adult supervision and drivers for as well. So what you all have been waiting for, the 100th anniversary activities. So I talked about this kind of in broad, vague ways in January. So we've honed in a little bit more. So just to talk about this, we will have a new award around the 100th anniversary activities. So it will be similar to our other awards at camp, where campers will have a list of criteria that they have to fulfill. And upon completing it, they will get a badge. What that badge is going to look like is it's going to be the 4th patch of the set. For the past 2 years, campers have gotten a piece of a set. At the end of the week, each camper will get the 3rd. The 4th patch can either be earned through this award, or it can be purchased at the camp store. So no matter whether a camper decides to go for this award or not, they'll have the option to get that 4th and last patch of the set. Other activities is campers are going to have the opportunity to earn, and I say earn very loosely, retired merit badges. So what this is going to look like is during open program, our area directors have gone through and picked and chosen requirements from older retired merit badges, some as early as 1940. And campers are going to engage in activities that Scouts would have had to do to earn those merit badges. And then upon completion of it, they will get a sticker version of the merit badge. So it's going to feel a lot like a hands-on open program activity, but it'll be more reminiscent to what a Scout might have done close to 100 years ago. And then we'll have whole camp celebrations, such as a birthday celebration within the dining hall, and then throwback open program activities outside of these retired merit badges as well. One of the biggest things I want to hit on is that we want to make sure that we are providing the same experience each week, so that the campers that come week 1 are getting the same 100th anniversary activities as week 7.
I got to ask, what is the FIST merit badge?
Physical development.
Wow. I don't see rabbit up there. That was retired in the 90s.
I cannot promise that we will have rabbit rearing merit badge this
Rabbit
summer.
raising. I earned it.
Raising.
89. All right, keep going. Good stuff.
All right. And for this next slide, I'm going to kick it over to Roger Murray.
Yeah, so I'm here to talk about our big 100th anniversary activity that we have going on June 29th. I'm Roger Murray. I'm a volunteer for the Alumni Association, and I will be joining as a member of the camp staff for part of this summer. And as we thought about how we wanted to celebrate the 100th, we knew that we wanted to provide an event not just for campers, but also to parents and families and friends, and to all of those who have shared the property over the years. So from that perspective, we're having a summer family fun day that's gonna go alongside our annual road race, and that's gonna kick off on June 29th. We're in the planning phases of it now. It's gonna be a day packed absolutely to the brim with activities. We're gonna start at 9 a.m. with our 5-mile race around the Thorndike, and then from 10 a.m. to noon, we're gonna be doing guided camp tours, followed by an opening of our Winoxet History Museum. We've been gathering a lot of memorabilia over the course of the last year, and we're really excited to share that with everyone. We're gonna have a barbecue lunch in the dining hall, because no day at camp is complete without it, followed by open program. We have been enthusiastically signing up volunteers across all ages and stages, from previous staffs and previous visitors to camp, in order to staff up the areas and make sure we can have as many of them open for visitors on the summer family day. And the day is going to conclude with a campfire, followed by a gathering at a local restaurant nearby. So if you want to sign up for that, you can get tickets. All you have to do is you can Google Camp Winoxet 100th, and it's the first link you'll see. And it's $5 for kids, $10 for adults and friends, and then $15 if you're going to run the road race.
Thank you, Roger, for that. And one other thing I really want to enunciate, Roger mentioned it briefly, is that this event is run mostly by alumni who were camp staff or involved in camp at some capacity. So 2 really great things about this. One, you might get to see some staff members that you haven't seen for years that have made a significant impact on yourself or your campers. But also this means that our staff for week 1, if you're coming week 1, is going to be just as refreshed as any other week. They'll still have that weekend to rest as well, or engage in the road race and fun if they would like to as well. Okay. So back to the program. So 2024 crew program. So this is going to look pretty similar to the big revamp that we did last year. So last year, what we did is we got together a list of requirements that we felt were applicable to be earned within the camp environment. So what we looked at for inclusion is that we did not want to look at long-term growth that we wouldn't be able to track within a week at camp, or we did not want to take the place of an advisor to a crew program either. So there had to be a clear benefit of doing it at camp for us to list it as a requirement. If you are a member of a crew, what this is going to look like for you is, as time gets closer for your arrival, either myself or Nick will reach out to you with this list, and we will work to schedule a very individualized program of what you would like to do during your week at camp during 1st, 2nd, and 3rd merit badge periods. And then along with the crew program last year, we started really revamping our youth leadership, so our senior patrol leaders within camp. And the reason behind this was really that we realized that more than 10% of our population when it came to campers had some type of leadership position in camp. So we really wanted to make sure that those leadership positions were impactful, not only at the troop level within their campsite, but at the program level at a whole as well. So we're going to continue to evaluate that program and really grow to strengthen our senior patrol leaders and crew presidents during their time at camp. And then this year we will still be offering CPR just as we did last year. There are a couple slight changes. So we still will have CPR for adult leaders, and this is just your basic CPR first aid for adult and pediatrics. It's about an hour and a half time commitment. There's going to be a virtual course that you will have to complete on the computer. You can either do that before you arrive or in person. We have computers for you and Wi-Fi as well. And then there'll be a in-person class in one of the evening times, and we'll announce that. It'll vary week to week just based on the adults that are half weekers and might want to do it as well. And then the CPR for BSA guards has changed a little bit, and I want to talk about that shift. So last year we offered it every single week along with BSA guard. There was no cost to campers. It was part of the BSA guard program so that they could leave camp with that full certification and would not have to get the CPR on their own. It is a different CPR. It's CPR for professional rescuers. But the way that the course is recommended and run best is for 4 or more participants to get the full experience. And many weeks we would have less than 4 BSA guards. So what we're going to do instead this year is we are going to offer a single date during week 7. We are going to invite all of the BSA guards from the summer back to get that CPR certification. And they are able to come get it for free, get their full BSA guard certifications. If they can't make it that week or they would not like to, they can still finish this certification separately on their own through the American Red Cross. So they still will eventually be able to get that BSA guard certification.
Adam Morris, pretty exciting, the numbers you have this year for the CIT program. Are you out there, Adam?
I am, thank you. So I'm Adam Morris. I'm the CIT director. This is my 18th year on staff. This is my, I guess, 8th year as the CIT director. I've been coming to camp since 2002. And it's indeed exciting that, amazing, I get to have the opportunity to be the CIT director this year for the 100th anniversary. And we have all these celebrations going on, but what better way to celebrate camp than being a CIT this summer if you are so eligible? Basically, Counselor in Training is a program that's 4 weeks long, and you come for staff week. You do 3 other weeks of your choice throughout the summer. You work in all the different program areas, and you live in the CIT Village campsite behind the Health Lodge down by the shoreline by the OA field, and you meet a lot of people and you have a lot of fun. You get trained with me every day. We do lots of fun activities together. It's an exciting way to move on from, like, if you've been a camper for a few years and if you want something more, this is sort of like the next step in the trajectory at camp, especially if you're interested in one day being part of the Camponauts staff. It's not a requirement to have been a CIT to be on staff, but it increases your chances dramatically of getting on staff, and you meet some incredible people in the process. So the application official deadline was the 15th of April, but it is still open now. So there are some cutoffs for weeks, like week 2, 3, and 4 are very full. We could fit a couple more of those weeks. And the other weeks are open though. So if you still are interested or have folks in your units that meet the age criteria, start the summer at age 14, no less, and aren't older than 15 and are going to be at least first class, then they are eligible for the CIT program. And even if they're going to camp with their troop, Scouts can still participate in the CIT program. If your troop's going week 2 or week 4, you can still go with your troop and then choose other weeks to go as a CIT. You get a very well-rounded experience doing it that way. So we build leadership skills. We learn about customer service and professionalism at camp. We go up the mountain once or twice a summer. We go kayaking. We do nature walks around camp. It's a fun experience. We build projects and towers and lashings in the CIT Village. So it's just a lot of fun. And we have 36 people that have signed up to do the program. We can take a bunch more. So the fee is $475. It's separate from the camp fee. But it includes 4 weeks of everything, and you get to take 2 merit badges each week that you're there. So you get to work on your advancement. You can continue doing that. And you might even be invited back for an additional week if you're performing very well and having a good time. So, adult leaders, think about, all right, who do I have in my unit right now that has some time? And, it's good to pack your summer in with a bunch of things. So, if you have people that you're thinking of, pass on the information, encourage them. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a push to get people to do it, but then they usually never regret it. It's a heck of a lot of fun. I still talk to the folks I was a CIT with back in the day. So anything else, Danny or Collins? You're muted, Dan.
I think you said it, but one more time, you got to be 14 when you arrive in camp for staff week.
Correct. 14 and first class. If you're not first class yet, but you will be in 30 days time, you need a board review or Scoutmaster conference, then we can make that work. But apply soon if you want to. If you're gonna apply, go to the link and do so on the council website, and then send me an email, cit@campwinoxet.org, just to tell me that you applied, so I have a heads up, and I can get in touch with you, and we can get the ball rolling with the whole paperwork situation.
All right. I think we have Webelos director Laura Fuller on.
I am here. So good evening, everybody. As Danny said, my name is Laura Fuller. I am the Webelos resident director at Camp Winoxet. We are very happy to be back again this year for Webelos resident camp. We have 2 half sessions that are, session 1 is August 4th through the 7th. Session 2 is August 7th through the 10th. Or they can stay for the entire week. You just register for session 1, and then there's a session 1 add-on that's for the entire week, Sunday through Saturday. If you have some scouts that are eager to be at camp and enjoy the program for a full week. In addition, this year, I don't know how many people know, but the BSA has changed up the Webelos, actually the entire Cub Scout program. So we're going to be incorporating some of the new requirements for Webelos and Arrow of Light, so they can earn some of those elective belt loops this summer. We have housing for both boys and girls. The girls stay in tents with girls, the boys stay in tents with boys. We have male and female registered Corey Sorried YPT leaders signing up to supervise in camp and to guide them about camp. So it's a very fun, exciting time for them. They will be able to participate in some of the 100th anniversary activities, and as well as making that transition between Cub Day camp and the Scouts BSA full week overnight camp.
All right, this one's important. You see your dates for camp. We have 7 weeks of resident camp. Our week 6 is that Webelo week, but we still offer resident camp, and we'll do that in separate areas. So we're not going to shut down the rifle range when the Webelos are shooting. They'll be on a separate BB range. So everything happens and the program rolls. We're not going to be pulling stuff offline. Everything will open and roll. Your pre-camp meeting is super important. These are an opportunity. It's a Zoom call where we can go over final check-in questions and clear up any medical concerns and get you ready for your arrival at camp. Collins, anything else about this slide?
Only thing I'll add is if you can't make it to your week's pre-camp meeting, you're welcome to come to any meeting before that meeting. So if you're supposed to be attending the July 10th meeting because you're going to camp week 4 and you can't make it July 10th, you can certainly jump on the Zoom call June 26th or July 3rd. If that happens to be the case, just shoot us an email and we'll get you the Zoom link that week before that meeting.
And we'll do our best to figure out campsites around the time of your pre-camp meetings. Often we'll have them that night, but sometimes we will not. If you are a small troop, you most likely will share a campsite. We have some campsites that have separate areas, so you almost feel like you have your own area or your own campsite within a campsite. It's a pretty full camp. We're looking around 1,400 scouts, not including the Webelos. About 65 paid staff, some volunteers, and the CIT. So it's going to be a great summer. about average of about 210 scouts per week. So 205, 210, right around there. And let's keep rolling. Medical forms. This is super important. I'm going to hand it over to Collins. I'm going to cruise through this, and then we're going to answer all your questions through the chat because I think there's going to be some.
All right. So medical forms, there's always the hot topic for unit leaders. For some of you, like I said at the beginning of the call, you are about a month out. Others maybe a month and a half to 2 months out. If you have not already started gathering your medical forms, you really need to. Schools are coming to an end, and families go off on vacation. Now's the time to start getting that stuff rolled together. As with last year, we changed this last year. We're going to continue with this year. We're asking that you send copies of your medical forms to camp 4 weeks before your expected arrival at camp. Right now, we are all still in our classrooms, but we are still sending folks up to camp on a regular basis to check the mail and to gather those medical forms and get them to the nursing division to review. Do not send them to Treasure Valley. Those are, they're not going to end up at camp, and it's going to delay the process of us getting them. So send them to camp, send copies. I'll say that 2 more times, copies of your medical forms to camp. Do not send the originals. We have to retain them for a couple of years per New Hampshire law. Send them to camp. If you could label them, just throw a Post-it note on the first med form, what unit it is, what week you're coming. That way we can categorize them accordingly. Some things about medical forms, some of it's on the slide here, but I'll go through all of it. Your forms are valid until the end of the 12th calendar month. It's very similar to your car inspection sticker. If your physical is July 3rd, it's good until July 31st of the following year. Good for the whole time. If you are in a week where you change months, so usually this happens with week 5, and your physical is good at the start of the week, but not the end of the week, you're good. As long as it's good when you arrive at camp, you're fine. Doctors often don't want to fill out the BSA medical form. That's okay. If they print out a report of the physical and you're able to staple that to the BSA form and still complete parts A and B, do that. The other question we got recently was the doctor's orders for the prescription medications is already on that doctor's printout. Do I need to have the doctor sign part B2 indicating they take medications? No, as long as the doctor's order is printed and it's official and it's stapled to that form, you're ready to rock and roll. We've produced for a number of years a double-sided kind of cheat sheet of things that you as a unit leader and parents should be looking at. Common mistakes, signatures missing, dates missing, check boxes not checked off. Please, please, please use that. Try to pre-filter your med forms, look at them. Mistakes happen. That's okay. We'll always catch it. If there's a scout, this doesn't really apply to adult leaders. If there's a scout that is exempt from immunizations, either for religious or medical reasons, email us, info@camponoxet.org. We'll walk you through the process on how to get that and what you should attach to the medical form for that. If a scout carries an inhaler or an auto-injector EpiPen, they do need to complete Part D at the back of the medical form. They do need to have the doctor complete that. That is a New Hampshire law. Some Massachusetts doctors were not willing to, at first pass, sign off on that because why should we have to sign off on it? Because it's New Hampshire. Well, they're going to camp in New Hampshire. We got to follow the laws in New Hampshire. So they do need to sign that. They do need to fill that out. It's kind of doctor's orders plus. It's got a little bit more detail. So please make sure that is done as well. And then again, kind of the most common things for the quick things that you should be looking for as a unit leader. Make sure that the OTC signature is done and the check mark is there from the parents. Make sure you're attaching a complete immunization record, not just the most recent dates. That's, again, a New Hampshire thing that isn't covered with the BSA form. And make sure the tetanus dates are good and the physical dates are good. Danny, anything else on med forms you want to include?
No, you got it. I would say that if you try to send all your forms in one envelope, but if you have a one-off and you send one of those up to camp, make sure that envelope is marked with the troop. And I would also bring an additional copy of that one-off just in the event that it goes astray. I would, if I was an adult leader going to camp, I would send a set of copies and I would bring a set of copies in the event that there's a challenge. So
I'll take this one too, Danny. Camp registration. So our early bird deadline has come and gone. But if you have any scouts that have joined the unit since the early bird, whether they crossed over from Cub Scouts or it's just a friend that has joined, they do get that early bird rate of $5.30. If they're going to Provo and they're going on an encore week, they also will receive that early bird rate as well.
this one's you, Collins.
Okay. Adult leaders, same ratios as previous years. We have up to 20 adults. You get 2 free adults, and then every part of 10 thereafter, you get an additional free adult. If you want to bring full week adults extra over and above that quota, $150 will settle up during the financial process. We can also do $10 per adult leader meal. Hold off on writing any checks. We'll talk about check-in and financials towards the end of the slide deck. Danny, back to you.
So we have a new food service director, and we'll be meeting with him in the next few weeks. John Visa is no longer the chef at camp. He's moved on, got a promotion. And so John Visa won't be at camp this year, but we're looking forward to someone new with cafe services. This is the 26th year that they have been the food service, and we're pretty lucky. And my meeting with the food service will talk about, we like to eat a lot of food at camp, and we want to make sure that we keep in place our protocols around gluten-free and allergies to food in that process. And so we'll have a good meeting with them, and we have a fully staffed kitchen on our side, and then they'll have 2 or 3 chefs on their side. All right.
Why don't we take a quick break? I think Nick has a couple questions we can queue up while we look forward to the meals we have at camp.
All right. I'm too hungry looking at those meals. Change that slide from that really cooked roast beef. I can't handle it. All right.
Nick, what you got for us?
Camperships have been awarded, and Collins will talk a little bit more about that. Nick, what do you got for questions?
All right, so we've got the first question. People just want to know the time that the pre-camp meetings are going to be. So the weekly meetings that we have, the Zoom meetings.
7 p.m.
All right. And then the other one is, where can we find the MedForm cheat sheets that you were referring to earlier, Collins?
It should be at the beginning of the leader's guide, or in the beginning of the medical form in the leader's guide. I will double check and get back to you on that, though.
All right. That's everything I've got for right now.
That's all of our questions. All right, folks, send those questions in. We're excited for them. So, all right, let's keep rolling. At this point, if there's still a scout in need, you definitely could request a campership, but that window has opened and pretty much closed. But please do not leave a scout behind because of a financial challenge. Communicate with council office. And Collins, anything to add to that?
We will verify the camperships when you go through your financial check-in process. So there's no need to send anything to us. We'll double check the roster and we'll make sure the camperships are there. But like Danny said, if there's a scout who didn't get a campership, or we've gotten a couple emails about family situations that have changed, please reach out to us. Don't leave that scout at home. All right. I think our business manager, Dan Fuller, are you out there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Tag, you're it. Let's talk about all
Perfect.
the awesome merch we have this summer.
Yeah, so we're really pleased to, or I'm really pleased to announce that our online store has been fully outfitted. It has been going strong for a couple of months now. So all of this stuff that you see on your screen is available on the online store for your purchase. It has free shipping right to you. Ship times may vary as we're working with an outside source to make the product as you order it. This prevents overproduction and basically keeps overproduction down. So if you want to place an order, you can do that. There is also, if you see on the very bottom of your screen, pre-orders for the 100th anniversary Camp Winoxet belts and the belt buckles that are right there. You can pre-order those. These are not available for shipping, but they will be available for pickup during your camp of week. Make sure you, during your week of camp, make sure you just denote that when you check out so that we can give you an accurate delivery.
But that buckle doesn't go on that belt. That's a
No, it
that's a
doesn't. No.
nylon belt with a plastic buckle, and then that other buckle will go on your leather belt.
Correct. Yes. The belt that you see on the left with the 100 and the mountain in the background, that is like our webbed belts that we have traditionally done that say Winoxit. We are doing these ones instead to kind of commemorate the 100th anniversary. And then, like Danny said, those round belt buckles on the right-hand side there, those are for more traditional leather belts that you can attach those onto. Also on the online store, they're not open yet, but probably beginning of June, online orders for care packages will open. So this is a great way for you or your parents to send a little gift, if you will, to your scouts who are at camp. We have different options for different drinks and snacks, t-shirts, all sorts of goodies. So those will come through me, and I will make sure that your unit leader or whoever contact at camp gets those to hand out to their campers. They bring that to the trading post, and my trading post staff will fulfill that for you. And then my last note is I've talked a lot about the online store. We will still very much have a fully stocked in-person store with t-shirts, sweatshirts, candy, drinks, anything that you can think of. We will have it in our trading post at Camp Winoxit.
All right, thanks, Dan. I want to talk about virtual pre-camp check-in. So as a unit leader, you can schedule a time with myself or Dan during summer camp, sometime in the 10 days between your pre-camp meeting and your arrival at camp on that Sunday. We will go through a financial check-in with you, about 15 minutes. We'll share the screen. We'll go through everything, make sure everything is there, and give you kind of a checklist of things to prepare and bring with you when you arrive at camp. This saves you time on Sunday. You don't need to worry about sitting in the hot office waiting for one of us to bring you into the office and go through the same exact thing. You can kind of do it on your own time. We'll have options available late morning, afternoon, and a couple evenings each of the weeks. So you can kind of just pick the time that works. And you could also invite as many people as you'd like, your treasurer, your merit badge person, your medical form person as well. So we'll send that out after each pre-camp meeting to everyone who shows up to those meetings. So be sure to come to the pre-camp meeting. Couple key dates to remember. June 15th, it's coming up on us real quick. It's only a couple weeks away. Everything that is at the Council Service Center is sent to the Dublin office. After June 15th, do not send anything to the Rutland office. Those folks are busy with their own business, and Kelly is working on getting Treasure Valley up and running. So don't send anything to them. It will just get delayed and coming up to Dublin. Send it directly to the Dublin address. And then we'll be on site June 22nd. That's when we will pick up the phone live and in the flesh. And if you need to call us now, you can call us now. Just leave a voicemail and one of us will get back to you in a day or so. A couple years ago, we developed a backdater. It's in our Leader's Guide. You'll notice we've been referencing the Leader's Guide a lot tonight. If you have not opened the Leader's Guide, you really need to open the Leader's Guide. It is the Bible. It is the thing that has all the information that you as a unit leader know. There's a backdater in there that you should be looking at as far as kind of some milestones for your arrival at camp. So for those of you who are coming week 1, your first milestone is coming up in about a week. 30 days out, you should be making sure that the registration for all of your youth, all of your adults is locked and loaded. Make sure that those folks are showing up on the roster from Minot Scouting. If the adult leader is not on there, you need to do something to get them on there. Work with your registrar, let them know that this is a requirement. It's a state requirement. It's a BSA requirement. It's something we have to make sure that everyone is on there. It protects the scouts. If you live in New Hampshire currently, or you have lived in New Hampshire in the last 7 years as a resident, not as a college student or a vacation home, you do need to complete a DCYF third-party check. Again, this is state law. This is something that is out of our control, where you as the adults are around scouts. This does take some time, so that's why we suggest you do it 30 days out. You get a mail form to Concord. and then they'll mail it back to you. You'll give it to the unit leader, and then you'll pass it on to us when we get to camp. If you have questions about that requirement, please email us info@camponoxet.org. About 28 days, around the same time, you should be making sure that those copies of those med forms are making their way to Dublin. If you don't have all the med forms for your unit and you have like 90% of them, get the copies made, get them in the mail, and just put a note on it saying you expect to submit a couple more. If you know that there's a medical form, that there's an issue, a physical is still to be completed, but here's the current medical form for that person, submit that med form, drop a post-it note on it that says a new updated physical will be submitted eventually. Get it as much complete as you can. 10 days out, get to your pre-camp meeting. We'll send those Zoom links out. Sign up for your pre-camp check-in, highly recommended. And then sometime between 7 and 13 days, actually do that pre-camp check-in. And then when you get to camp, and we'll send this out to everybody, the kind of checklist of things that you need to make sure you have. It is in the leader's guide, but we'll remind everybody after those pre-camp meetings. Make sure everyone actually gets to camp, or they're on their way. We're not going to have any no-shows. And then come to the office. Whether you did the pre-camp check-in or not, you need to come to the office, give us that thumbs up that everyone's here, and then go through the process or drop off the stuff that you need to bring, including all the things that we basically covered today, but is also in the leader's guide. It really helps make check-in smooth. All right. Danny, you want to pick this one up?
Sure. Just one thing. Andrew, let's say a scout wants to come to camp, but they did not send their medical form a couple weeks in advance or 4 weeks in advance like they were supposed to, but we could still add them on, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yes, we have some strict rules about medical forms, but if someone changes their mind, do not say you can't come to camp because you didn't do your medical form 4 weeks in advance. So make sure you have a camp coordinator and make sure that person is looking at the leader's guide. Each year, someone will say to us, you need to have a manual for all this information. We show them the leader's guide and they were never told about it. Let's make sure that if you have a new email that you let us know about that so we can get you onto the list. Unit pays the camp. One check from the troop to us with the form. Collins, the submission form is in the leader's guide, correct?
Yes, last page, hyperlinked.
And what it is it's a cheat sheet for when all of a sudden a check for many thousands of dollars shows up to council office, and it helps them understand what they're processing. And so please make sure to use the financial submission form, one check. And if you need to add a scout or drop a scout, we'll take care of all of that once you arrive in camp, because many times you might have someone who is not coming to camp, but you want to add someone, it all washes out. You will deal with the individual parents on refunds, and we'll refund the troop if you overpaid. Do not worry. All right, let's keep rolling. Let's get to some questions.
I only have one other question that's been come through, and it was if we know the cost of photos right now.
We're thinking about $15. We were in talks with Peterborough Camera. 15 is where we think it's going to be. We're 90% sure.
All right. Yep. That's all I got for right now.
Now, there was a question about whether you can see the questions on YouTube. Collins, are there two places for questions?
Nope, that was the one question that came through on YouTube.
Okay. So let's give it a couple seconds in case anyone else wants to submit. Now, remember how to submit a question. Is it the QR code in the bottom right that we're looking at right now?
Correct. Yeah, the QR code in the bottom right of every slide.
Okay. All right.
All right. We'll talk about a couple camp registration tips. So we already mentioned that June 15th date. After that date, send everything to the camp office in Dublin. Don't send it to the Rutland office. I also want to bring up, you may or may not have known, if you're not from Heart of New England Council, Kelly Stickney, who has served for a number of years now as the program assistant for Heart of New England Council, has just been promoted. She's now our program director, full-time professional, just been commissioned, went to the summit a few weeks ago. She is in that role. She's still serving as the camp director at Treasure Valley. It's super important that if you have questions for Camp Winoxet, email us directly, info@camponoxet.org. It may take a day or two for us to get back to you. We're all full-time educators or students. Kelly is busy running all the program for our council, including her own camp. So if you send anything to Kelly or to any of the folks that are in the Rutland office, there may be a delay getting to us. So really long story short, email us directly, info@camponoxet.org. Everyone who has spoken tonight gets those emails in one way, shape, or form. We do have our online roster and merit badge submission. There is a template link at the very end of the leader's guide. You can complete that. There's instructions on the first page. You just share it with us. And you can make those updates up until midnight the day before you arrive. We don't do anything with those until you get to camp, unit roster and merit badge stuff. So you can make those changes. And then obviously attend the pre-camp meeting. We've talked about it 3 or 4 times now. Make sure you have a representative there to listen to all the operational type stuff that is happening during check-in. Designated youth, right? Get your SPL, your crew president to really talk up camp. I know early bird is come and gone at this point, but we want to make sure that all our scouts that are in our units come to camp. Check our social media. We've got a whole bunch of things going on there right now for our 100th, and we've got some updates coming down the pike as far as the camp flag tour. Nurse Becky's bringing the flag around the country right now. And then check the camp website. We're updating that all the time with information. And back to you, Danny.
All right, Nick, we must have some more questions. Anything for us?
Yeah, there was one more. Somebody was wondering if having their crossover scouts registered on their pack roster counted. Collins?
Yes, as long as they're registered as a member in scouting, they're fine.
Yes. So if they finished out their year and in the pack and they want to go to camp and they're the proper age, but they just haven't signed up for the troop, but they're still in scouting, they're all set.
Yeah, and same goes for adult leaders. I know we've gotten an email or two from folks over the last couple of months about, whether it's in one case we had an adult leader who they're registered in a pack because they have a younger child in the pack still, and they're just not in the troop yet. That's fine. We also had a question from someone, an alumni who has not been to camp in like a number of years, but is related to a Scoutmaster. They want to come to camp for a week. As long as they're registered in scouting, we're fine. You can just have the registration, the roster report for that unit. That works for us too.
All right. Anything else, Nick?
Yes. So somebody asked if there's a way that they can reapply for camperships if they were not originally awarded, or if they had a situation with a change in circumstances.
Yes. Resubmit the application and note the changes. Or if you didn't receive one, send us an email along with that, and we'll see what we can do. Rachel, program-wise, anything we missed, anything you want to add? Program Director Rachel.
Nope, and I don't think I've seen any questions come up, but if there are any, I'm happy to answer them.
All right, we'll see you about 10 days, 2 weeks before for the next big meeting. That one is chock full of information. We get down into the weeds about how to sign up for merit badges. But remember, everyone gets their first choice at Camp Winoxet, so there's no need to stress about merit badges. We'll make it work. We'll add sections and sessions of badges. But all right, Nick, you're going to be the last one. When you tell us there's nothing in that Google form, we'll sign off in a minute.
Give it another 30 seconds. We did have one more question come in. So how will the links for the pre-camp check-in meetings be sent out?
We'll send those directly to the unit leader who is the contact on our registration form for your unit. So make sure that you're the right person. If you don't know, shoot us an email, info@camponoxet.org. We can verify who the contact is. We'll send the link out for the Zoom call typically a day or two before the Zoom meeting. And then we'll send out the pre-camp check-in option right after that meeting.
Right. And yep, that is it from both the YouTube chat and from the Google Forms.
I guess I would say if you have one thing to take away from this meeting, it's going to be, well, let's go 2 things. It's going to be a great summer, and get working on those medical forms. We want to make your Sunday smooth. We want to get you into your campsite to nest. We want you to see camp and get your swim check done. But those medical forms are a key part to the process. So please, medical forms, and be safe. We'll see you in somewhere between 5 weeks and 12 weeks. So we good? Anything else, Nick?
Yeah, we're all clear.
All right, be safe, stay cool. Have a good one. We're signing off.